our second episode. We've got some special guests that we're going to be bringing on with us here in a little bit. But before we go on, number one, go Seahawks. Did you guys get to see the game?
Actually, this weekend I was out, disconnected. I didn't have any service. I was nice, and I was camping with a couple buds of mine over Okanogan, Wenatchee. So it was nice to be a little disconnected from all the online.
Did you get some sunshine over there?
Oh yeah, a lot of rain too. Set up in the rain, took down in the rain. So
yeah. All right. How about you, Brady? Did you get to watch the Hawks game?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. All the touchdowns Russell Wilson threw, and Russell Wilson now holds the record for the most touchdowns in the first 3 weeks of any season. So our very own Russell Wilson.
All right, go Hawks. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, before we go on, those that are out in the audience, if you want to shoot in some questions, you can just put them in the live stream question place, as we go on, and we'll monitor those and love to answer your questions as we go on. But before we move on to talking about all things Tahoma and sports, are there any questions, Mekhi or Brady, that you have of me?
As the big presidente, I'm talking to a lot of our amazing students here, and a big thing that we've been getting is AP classes and workload. So if you have anything on how that'll look, because I'm just saying, as an AP student myself, it's been a lot. And we just want to know if there's any transitional points or anything about that information-wise that we can hear from you.
Yeah, AP is tough, and homework in general is really tough. We've been really clearly communicating that teachers can have 30 minutes of asynchronous work, so that it extends that class. But AP and college classes, we have some outside parameters that we have to try to get you to. So it's tough. Talk to your teachers. Look for that balance. They're pretty good about giving you a little bit of grace. If guy, I'm just having a hard time balancing this out, just give a shout out to your teacher. And maybe they'll slow it up for you. They can give you an extension on it. But we still have to get to that final AP exam in the end. So great question. Surprisingly, if you can believe this, this Friday marks the midway point of the semester since we're on that accelerated schedule. So we're going to kind of do a grade check with kids, send it out to parents, see where we are, but try to make sure everybody knows that, man, we're coming up to the end of the semester before you know it. Anything else you guys are hearing out there?
Nothing too much in particular. What you got, Brady?
One thing, guys, I wanted to mention, it's kind of exciting, is our kindergarten, first grade are going to kick back into school the 19th of October. So here in a couple of weeks, we're slowly starting to go back to school. Now, because we're the high school, we have to be the last one coming into the scene. So you basically go elementary school, then you go middle school, and then finally high school. So before you know it, we're hopefully, if everybody stays good and we don't spread the virus too much, we'll be back in school even before second semester gets started. So fingers crossed on that. It doesn't look like the quarter time. That's getting a little too accelerated, but definitely at semester time, if everything holds and the trends hold. Can't wait to get back at school and do some things like our regular classes and sports. And that brings us to today's show. And I'm going to bow out of this and listen to what you guys have to say. But one of my favorite people, Mr. Davis, who's worked at Tahoma a long time, former Seattle Seahawks, go Hawks again. He's going to join us and talk about our athletic program. And we've got some special guests coming on too, some of our student athletes to share. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mekhi, and Mr. Davis. And Mr. Davis, have fun with Mekhi.
Oh, great. Wonderful. First off, how you doing, Mr. Davis? I haven't talked to you too much, but how's it been? How's it been hanging?
It's going all right, Mekhi. To be honest, it's different. It's just different, and it would be unqualified. I'm doing great if we had everybody in the building and if we were living the life that we were living, a year ago when we're normal. And the sooner we can get back to that, the better I'll feel on a day-to-day basis. How about you? How about you guys? You guys doing okay?
Good. I have been living, online AP student, doing all the stuff. But overall, I've been good, just getting used to it all, because we're about almost 5 weeks in, so gotta get used to it at this point. How are you feeling, Brady?
I would say I'm doing good. Definitely an interesting time with everything going on. But I like this remote learning schedule. It's very flexible for the circumstances that we have to live through at this moment. And while I would like to go back to school, we have to see ultimately how things go. But only like during the senior year, it's kind of hard not like having certain events happening, but still being able to have like that school community feel at least is still really great, even though it's online.
Yeah, I think we're all missing that. I think we're all missing. I'm just curious. I know we're going to talk about sports here in a second. I got a handful of things I'll go through. I'm guessing you got some questions, but I'm just curious if you're starting to figure out this remote learning, would you have some tips, some advice for the people watching today?
Yeah, definitely. I just say keep a schedule. Make sure that you are keeping it organized as you can. I mean, I got all my stuff laid out for me. So, making sure that you can block out the time, because I know we get out at 2:30, but making sure for homework wise and stuff like that, you got time of the day, because I may be an AP student, but I still got time to hang out with my friends, chill, play some guitar, live my life a little bit. What about you, Brady?
I would say like even with like everything going on, like I still have plenty of time obviously to apply to colleges. I also have lots of time in my free time. I love video games. I like to play on every single console. So, you can friend me on any of the consoles if you want, any you guys want. And and I also like watching, catching up on like news for like gaming stuff, and I like to stream. So if any of you like that type of stuff, I do that.
Hey, well, what's kind of cool about what you just talked about, and I hadn't planned on starting off with this, but it fits, is one of the new sports that the WIA, that's the governing body for athletics in the state of Washington, one of the things that we're looking at adding is esports. They're so popular, and I think back to when we were in school and walked around during power hour and lunchtime, and you got all kinds of guys are plugged into the different TV monitors that we have in the building. So not a lot of details on what that's going to look like right now, but it's kind of the next thing that's coming. Yeah. More kids involved. What we know is that when kids are involved in sports and activities, that their attendance is better, the grades are better, just so many things that it positions them for. So that's one that's on the horizon. And Brady, you might be born a little too soon to fully experience it, but we're going to be excited about that.
I'll definitely be asking some follow-ups on that one, though. So
yeah,
absolutely.
For future classes, though, that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah,
kids will love that.
Yep. And like I said, they'll be competing against other schools, and they'll have a state champion, do all those other things. So we're excited about that.
All righty. We got a lot of wonderful questions flowing in from our audience. Let's skip on over to the sports, what we're here for, Mr. Davis. So just a general question, what are we gonna be looking at for fall sports this year? It's gonna be open up, we're gonna be able to see people. What do we got?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm way more optimistic than I was probably a month ago. And the fact that we're starting to get students coming back into schools, because that's actually one of the pieces of criteria that people are looking at is it's pretty difficult to justify kids coming in and participating in sports if we're saying it's not safe enough for them to be in school. So the fact that we're starting to phase kids in, starting at the elementary, then the upper kids in the elementary, then the middle schools, and then ultimately the high school. And so what's happened is all of the seasons have been pushed back, okay? Normally we'd be in about week 4 of the fall sports season. And since we are all learning remotely, this thing has been pushed back. So we'll actually start what we traditionally call our winter sports. And they'll be December 28th. So that's boys basketball, girls basketball, wrestling, girls wrestling and boys wrestling, boys swim, who might be leaving out, gymnastics. So those will all start on December 28th. And what's important about that date is it's during our Christmas break. And so,
Gotcha.
and let me put a qualifier in. All of this is contingent on we can make progress in terms of getting this virus under control. If that works out, then again, that first group that'll get out will be our winter sports athletes. We'll still go through our clearance, have to go through family ID, just like kids are used to doing, whether they're an incoming ninth grader or have been with us for 3 years. There's some requirements that we have to have in place, and we're trying to build those into the clearance process as much as possible. But we want to get rolling, and we're looking forward to that. So that will start December 28th. The fall sports, what has been our traditional fall sports, they'll get rolling at the end of February or the beginning of March. So that's like the girls' soccer, football, cross country. I know I'm going to leave something out: golf, tennis. I'm going to peek down here, girls swim. So all those things will get going March 1st. The football actually would start on February 17th because they have their practice requirements. They're required to have more practices than the other sports because of the contact. And I'm going to kind of take a little bird walk here for a second. One of the things that's kind of nice is because we're compressing 3 seasons into really what ends up being just about a little more than half of a school year. So all of the normal practice requirements, there's normally a 10 practice requirement before the kid is allowed to go out and compete in a game. Well, what's going to happen this year because of the COVID is those minimum practice requirements have been cut in half. So if it was 10 before, and now it's down to 5. For football, it goes from 12 to 10. And again, that contact piece that I was talking about before. So the idea is we're trying to get as many games as possible into these shortened seasons. And so the general rule of thumb is you get about 70% of what would have been the normal season. So if you had 10 games in a regular season, it's going to be 7 games. If you were 20 games like baseball, fast pitch, those are going to be 14 games. But you know what, at this point, after last spring, when we had to shut everything down, we'll take 14 baseball games. We'll take 14 fast pitch games. We just want to get our kids out playing and competing. Third season, the last one I'll hit, starts April 26th. And that's that traditional spring sports. So boys track, girls track, baseball, fast pitch, and girls tennis. So that's a lot that I've just kind of thrown at you. Let me just hit the pause button and see if you have some questions for me.
I think we got a lot rolling in from sports. From Amaya, my buddy over here. At what point will we be able to sign up and try out for sports?
There would be those start dates that I gave you would be the tryout dates as well.
Gotcha.
So, March 1st for the fall sports, December 28th for the winter sports, and April 26th for the spring sports. So the tryout period is built into those start dates.
Yeah. Great question, Amaya.
Yep. Hey, I think real quick too, I'll just jump back in. I think we got some students that are waiting.
Yeah.
To be a part of this conversation. So Adagi, Levi, and Ethan, if you guys jump on and maybe introduce yourselves and you can help me with some of these questions, or if you have questions, I want to be able to answer them for you guys as well. So Adagi, I see you on the screen right there. So let's go ahead and introduce yourself and everybody know who you are.
Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm Adagi Otaro Igwe. I'm a senior here at the high school, and I run track and field.
Awesome. Levi?
You got a wonderful voice, man, but I'd love to hear it.
Sorry about that. My name is Levi Kovacs. I'm on the football team and the wrestling team.
Awesome. Can we get Ethan in there? Is he around?
I think he was supposed to be around. I think he jumped out on us. I'm sad. I'll share my tears. Oh, our spirit stakeholder, he's here. Also, oh, wonderful.
We got to let Ethan speak for a minute. Go ahead, Ethan. Can I
let you?
Oh, I'm the spirit stakeholder this year for our class, the senior class this year.
Hey, why don't you explain what that is? We might have some freshmen that are on here for the first time or some new students. And why don't you explain what that is?
So this is the spirit stick this year. What it is at assemblies, usually I'd run around in a crop top shirt and pants with handprints on them and run around and just kind of bring spirit to the whole assembly. And it's kind of my job at school, keep school spirit high, and then go to all school events and just kind of keep it going.
Awesome. Am I the only one that thinks it's weird that he's got that spirit stick like within arm's length of him at all times?
Yeah, no. I mean, do you sleep with it? Is it like under your bed? Give me a spot.
It's up against the wall just to the right here. It would be at the school in the closet, but clearly it's not there right now. The old stick that Nick Olson handed down to me at his graduation party, because he had it at his house too, because he took it home with him when the school shut down, and now it's here at my house.
Well, we know for sure that thing is safe. Hey, let's take some questions. I'll start off with Levi or Adagi. You guys, or Ethan, do you guys have any questions for me? And then we'll start taking them from the folks that are watching. Take that silence.
Yeah, I'm like the crickets.
Yeah. So how about you just start hitting us with the ones that have come in?
Gotcha. One from Trista. This one's more for you, Davis, about cheerleading and football, how that's all going to line up.
Yeah, we are in cheers and activities, so it's got a little bit of different set of rules. So really what we're just waiting for is the green light to start working for that opportunity for where students can start working directly with coaches, call it face-to-face coaching. And actually, as soon as we get the okay for that, we're probably going to be okay for cheer to start. But Trista, we wouldn't be able to do any stunting yet. Stunting is in a category that has a little bit higher risk to it because of the physical contact. But the sideline cheer, we'd be able to do those things, hopefully as soon as we're able to start face-to-face coaching. And I was saying before that I'm more optimistic now than I'd been in a while. We're expecting some changes to the guidelines that we've been working under. And we're hoping that maybe even this week, more likely week after, that we can start to get some face-to-face coaching similar to what we did in the summer, where we're in those smaller groups of 5. And what it sounds like, it might even be groups of 10, where we're able to get out and do some non-sport specific work, but do some conditioning and those types of things, which I'll take that at this point. I'm looking forward to getting back working with our guys. And I think all of our coaches are.
All righty. And then this one is from Mason. I saw this one a little bit earlier. Is the high school basketball courts, or are they going to be open at all for open gym? Which I'm assuming is going to be an interesting question with being at the high school.
Yeah. Again, really good question, Mason. The guidelines allow us to do more things outside than they do inside right now. And kind of my way of looking at this is we'll do all we can do as soon as we can do it. So I can't put a specific date on when we would allow kids to come back into the gym spaces, the wrestling room, those types of things. But as soon as we can, we will. But it's going to take a little bit longer to get the okay for those indoor sports and activities than it will for the outdoor sports and activities.
Gotcha. And, I love our stone statues of students here, but I'd love to hear from you guys too,
That's what I'm talking
here's some sports. Levi, what sports are you playing and what are you excited for coming up?
I'm playing football and wrestling, and I'm excited to, instead of kind of like at this point we're restricted to our houses, so kind of like working out on your own and being self-directed, I'm excited to be with my team, and because football and wrestling, they're team sports, so it's like it's oriented around each other and building off each other's energy. So I'm excited to be back with everybody and get to work. So yeah.
Gotcha. I'll shoot the same one over to you, Adagi. Love hearing the voices.
Yeah, I think the main thing I'm looking forward to is just practicing and competing, with my teammates, especially because track is definitely like individualized. I'm used to, practicing on my own. So I definitely miss practicing with others and competing.
One of the things that I've been asked about, Ethan, I'm not ignoring you, these guys with it, because they just kind of triggered a thought for me, is there's a concern that the whole recruiting process is gone a little bit haywire because of the virus. Levi and Adagi, can you guys talk about what the recruiting process has been for you? And I just want people to hear that it's still going on. There's things that are still happening. We're still moving forward on that, even though we're not in school. Adagi, why don't you start us off with that one?
Yeah, the recruiting process from what I've been doing so far is a little bit earlier than usual. Like I was sending out emails around August and getting contacted around August. And there's no visits, so sadly you can't do any campus visits during this time, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it's definitely going a little bit faster now. Coaches are contacting me a little bit sooner than usual, but it's still definitely going on.
Yeah. Levi, how about your end?
Yeah, so adding on to that, there is still like a Division I sports, like there's like a ban for coaches to see athletes face to face, but that doesn't mean that you can't like still talk to your coach. So when you have like their contact info, you can talk to them all you want, and they can still offer you and you can get a scholarship, but you just can't like see them and like go to the team and like practice and hang out and do all those sorts of things. Yeah,
it's still going on. Things are still working, moving forward in all the sports, and it's different because that face-to-face interaction's not happening right now, or those invites to come on visits, but the process is still taking place. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna throw it back to you and see what I want to make sure we answer as many questions.
Oh yeah, of course. I've been seeing some rolling in. I got a good one from Adeline Bakken, if we want to pop it up on screen or not. Yeah, there we go. It's about reintegration of sports that already social distance. So I heard you talking about earlier about it going by seasons, but how about easily reintegrating things like swim versus football?
Yeah, I think they're all going to feel a little bit different just in terms of those guidelines and those steps that we have to follow in terms of distancing and just, for example, water bottles. You know, it might be one of those things where you have to have your own water bottle. Real small difference, but very manageable for us. And there are some sports like the ones that are listed on here that kind of lend themselves real easy for us to get going on. Tennis, swim, golf. Those are the ones that stand out in my mind. Are kind of easy for us to adapt to the guidelines that we have. Gymnastics, which is the other one that's listed here, a little bit different because, again, it's indoors, and it's got some challenges with that and just the spaces and those types of things. You know, and this kind of reminds me, too, and I'll get a chance to get Ethan back into the conversation is, you know, one of the things that will be a challenge for us is the guidelines that we have to follow in terms of spectators. And we don't know for sure what that's going to look like, but Ethan, as you think about, you know, if you had a crowd that maybe we're used to packing the place. Let's say that maybe this is one of those things where maybe we only get 25% of the seats that we're able to fill, or 50%. How are you going to get that crowd fired up, make it feel just like it normally does?
For those, especially if we're going to be having no spectators or just like only a certain percentage of spectators, I know our video production at the high school can do live streams for some events. So staying connected like virtually and all that is a good way to just keep up with what's going on in the school. I know we've been working on getting live stream footage down by the track and like the football field at the high school. So if that ever gets up and running this year, we'd be able to use that. But at football games, we'd usually we'd bring the spirit can and throw out rally towels. That probably won't be a thing this year at all if we ever have football games. But the virtual and online live streams are probably the best way to go for those.
Yeah. And like I said, we don't know yet, but our hope is that it's reduced size crowds, not eliminating crowds, because we want to make our parents and your friends and family have a chance to get out and watch. What else you got rolling through?
All right. I mean, we got a variety, but obviously we can't get to all of them. I'm gonna have to wrap it up here. Thank all of the wonderful guests here, Mr. Davis, Levi, Adagi, and Ethan. Thank you all so much for coming out.
Makai, can I just one thing that I think?
Oh yeah.
And all these guys are part of a team, and even if you're not involved in sports, but you're part of a group. And this has been a difficult time, and it's been more difficult for some than others. So my challenge to the three that are on the screen or the people that are listening along with us is, hey, go check on somebody. If you haven't heard from them in a while, go check on somebody. Take care of yourself first and foremost, but reach out to somebody that maybe you're not seeing on a regular basis and just there's, hey, how you doing? And then have a next question loaded up and ready to go about, hey, what are you looking forward to today? Or what are some of the cool things you did yesterday? But hey, Tahoma, let's take care of each other. We're going to be back in this building eventually. Let's make sure everybody's right. Everybody's mind is right when they get back in, and I'm looking forward to that. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Listen to the big man himself. We all got to be at each other's backs. It is a hard time. And, you know, whether it be a wonderful mind or like the wonderful athletes out here, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm going to get brought back with my two lovely buddies, Terry and Brady. And we're going to push off all the wonderful faces we had here.
All right. Hey, great words there, Mr. Davis. That's the Tahoma way, right? Is we take care of others as well. And, you know, I want to point out that a lot of what Mr. Davis talked about is directed by the Washington State Interscholastic Activities Association. And we're going to try the best that we can in all of our areas that makes Tahoma what Tahoma is. And that's, let's get drama going again. Let's get our marching band going again. Let's get our clubs. Let's get our activities. Let's get all of those pieces that make Tahoma back. And we'll find a way. So it's not just the sports, it's everybody, and it's that connection. Esports team, I don't know what Smash Brothers is, but I got a great Madden team that I can come on. So I'm gonna take somebody on with that once we get esports going. But that'd be really cool to get some stuff going. We're missing all of you, and I know Brady and Mackay feel the same way. It's like, man, it shouldn't be like this, but it's starting to move in the right direction. But we can't take it for granted. We have to keep doing the things that we're doing that's making it move in the right direction. So we got to stick together so we can have a homecoming, and we can have the games and the drama and the music that we all want. So let's stick together for that. We're going to get back together in a couple of weeks. Got kind of a surprise show for us coming up here in a few weeks. So we'll hold on with that, and hopefully we have some more updates and some more news as we're slowly starting to go back to normal and get where we need to be. So Brady, Mackay, anything before we say later on?
Just saying, you know, thank you all for coming out, and questions rolling in. Yes, I am reading every single one of them. Thank you specifically to the person who said nice cut, because yes, I got my haircut and it's great. But we will be getting, looking at, and we're seeing all of your questions, and they're all being taken note of. If I don't ask them on here, I'll definitely ask them afterward and try and get some answers to you guys. So yeah, that's about it for me.
And we'll throw this out as a recorded version too, if you guys want to watch it later, and maybe we can get to some of those questions out there. So we sure appreciate it. It's just a lot of stuff to cover. So I'm bringing my favorite LP next time. I'm going to spin some vinyl for you, Mackay. So we're going to start off with that, and you got to share me one of yours. But until then, Bears, hang in there, look after each other, like Mr. Davis said, man, powerful words, and go Bears. Thanks.
Go Bears.